please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Very good morning. Welcome to Chartbusters. Well, this is the show where we'll highlight all the buzzing stocks of the day. For the time being, the Nifty is trading in the red. The Sensex is down 130 points. And mind you, the Nifty Bank, in fact, from the highs that we saw just a few trading sessions ago, that's down nearly around 1,000 points from the recent peak. You pull up a week-to-date chart, you'll see that earlier this week, we almost kissed the 27,000 mark, in fact. Now, in fact, we have breached the 26,000 mark. So not looking too good from the recent peak, Mangalam. It's a Friday. The Nifty Bank almost kissed the 27,000 odd. I hope you're going to be on good behavior this weekend.
I will be on good behavior. I don't know, you're talking about kisses and all Friday. I don't know what you're up to this weekend. Tell you what, the Nifty Bank's correction tells you that maybe the macro chickens are coming home to roost because you have the yields which are higher. The rupee, in fact, has crossed that 68 mark as well. We'll keep an eye out on the macro cues, but because it's Friday and you spoke about kissing, which I'm not going to do this weekend.
You don't have the license.
We talk about United Spirits and United Breweries. Both of them have moved to the high point of the day, despite some correction.
Imagine, Mangalam, you're talking about chicken. You're talking about about United Spirits Breweries. You don't touch any of that. I mean, yet you're talking about it. Maybe there is some temptation this weekend. Kissing, spirits, chicken, whoopsie daisy.
None of them. So let's actually take it straight to the headlines and then we'll discuss all of this with Ashwini. Bajaj Auto is the top Nifty gainer ahead of its fourth quarter earnings. The company is expected to report a 34% jump in domestic volumes driven by three-wheeler sales.
And Voltas is down over 7% in today's trading session after its revenue and net profit for the fourth quarter came in below what the street was working with. CLSA believes that a peak out in the market share is likely to become a derating catalyst for the stock.
Biocon, that one is subdued in trade after the US FDA issues a Form 483 with 7 observations for the drug maker's Bengaluru unit. The company reiterates that this is a pre-approval inspection. The observations are procedural in nature.
And mid-caps stocks reacting to their numbers. SRF and Balkrishna, both of them are under pressure in trade. The stocks are seeing selling despite reporting more or less stable set of numbers in the fourth quarter, while KEI Industries reports a solid beat on all fronts in their quarter four earnings. Revenues rising 30% while margins expand to around 9.8%.
All right, in stocks buzzing on Dalal Street, we have HCC gaining on hope trade after the management conducts a conference call with Big Bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, as well as JK Tyre surges more than 5% after reporting strong quarterly performance with margins for the India business improving substantially.
Well, the Nifty is down nearly around 300 points, 285 points odd from the peak that we saw just a couple of trading sessions back, while the Nifty Bank is down 1,000 points odd. How do you trade the Nifty from here? Can we move lower in the second half of trade? Ashwini Gujral joins in. Hi, Ashwini. Good morning. What's the trade on the Nifty from here? Has it corrected enough? Can we see a bit of a bounce from here? Would you play the Nifty Bank?
See, what the Nifty needs to do is probably get back above 10,000, 750 before it becomes a buy. Till then, it remains a sell on rally market. And the trade that I've been speaking of for many days, that FMCG consumer keeps going up and, financials and the economy stocks, they keep moving lower. That's playing out. So as we speak, Hind Unilever, Jubilant, etc., they're all moving up, Titan. But again, if banks are putting that sort of pressure, it's tough for any sort of pullback rally to last. So the idea remains that on rallies, you probably sell into the market. On the Bank Nifty, maybe 26,050, 100, thereabouts. Those could be good selling levels. Individual stocks, Tech Mahindra is a buy with a stop of 685, target of 710. ICICI Bank is a sell with a stop of 294, target of 282. And Bharti Airtel is a sell with a stop of 362, target of 345.
Well, Ashwini, the advice was to, on a bit of a bounce, to short the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank. Stop losses, I just missed that one out. If you could just reiterate that on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank.
See, basically the previous day's high, which on Bank Nifty, on the Nifty is about 10,750 odd. And similarly on the Nifty 26, 100, 150, with that sort of stop, any 100, 120 point rally, you can go short on.
All right, Ashwini, point well taken on HUL. That one's moving higher and higher as we speak, up 6% post results, 14% earnings growth as compared to the others in the pack. ITC, for instance, posted about 10%. So we'll keep an eye out on that. HUL now the largest valued FMCG stock in the sector. But thank you, Ashwini, for that. We'll keep coming back to you all through the course of the day. But we have some breaking news coming in. This is the latest on the Binani Cement insolvency case. The Committee of Creditors of Binani Cement, they're set to evaluate Ultratech's revised offer for the company in today's meeting. Ritu Singh joins in with what can be expected. Ritu.
An important meeting of the Committee of Creditors of Binani Cement will be held today because this is the first time that the lenders will be looking at the revised offer that has been put on the table by Ultratech Cement for acquiring Binani Cement, and that offer, we understand from sources, is 7,960 crore rupees. This is far higher than Dalmia Bharat's offer, which was earlier declared the winning bidder at 6,590 crore rupees. This meeting, of course, comes after the NCLAT directed the resolution professional to not take a call in the matter, but rather just pass its comments to the Committee of Creditors, who will have a final say. We also understand parallelly, Binani Industries has made a plea for termination of IBC proceedings against Binani Cement by offering to pay 100% of the creditors' claim. And that is also something that will be discussed by the lenders in today's meeting, although it is not listed on the agenda, because the lenders and the resolution professional will then have to submit all of the minutes of today's meeting along with their comments on the termination of IBC to the NCLAT before Monday, because on Tuesday is when the NCLAT will hear all of these pleas against Binani Cement.
All right, thanks a lot for caps. A couple of them are bleeding as we speak. Stride Shasun is the one that should come up for you, which is down about 3%, 2.5%. But half of those cuts have come by just in the last 10 to 15 seconds. There you have it. It is at the low point of the day. But let's move on. In fact, Havells also should come up for you as we speak. That one too has hit the lowest end of today's trading session so far. But let's move on and keep it brief with Lux Industries. They reported a good set of numbers in the fourth quarter. Margins expanded a bit. And to detail more, we have Saket Todi, the Senior Vice President of the company, who joins us now. Saket, congratulations, 27% revenue growth. The margins have expanded. If you could tell us what exactly took place in your other expenses, because I'm looking at your revenue growth of 27%. Gross margins have contracted. Last quarter, I remember you coming to our channel and saying that you've, utilized the services of Amitabh Bachchan to advertise your brand. Other expenses have come down. What have you done? Have you capitalized that and you are depreciating it over a period of time, or you've expensed that?
Saket?
I think we've got him on.
Yeah, okay. We'll try to get back to Saket in just a bit. But for the time being, as Mangalam said, the markets are trading in the red. You have the mid-cap index is doing a relative underperformance. Keep an eye out on that front. OMCs, they are moving around. There was some rumors this morning that there could be some relief for some of these OMCs. The likes of HPCL, I remember, went to the high point of the day. But now if you pull it up, it's cooled down from the top. You pull up BPCL, in fact, that's moved to the low point of the day. So keep an eye out on a couple of the stocks. And Lupin, some part of the street believes the pricing pressures are behind them. That stock, though, has corrected from the day's top. Mangalam, you want to go ahead? I think Saket's back with us.
I think Saket is back with us. So before we ask him a question, just Saket, you can hear us, right?
Yes, I can.
All right. So congratulations on a good set of numbers. Just give us a sense of what exactly did you do with the other expenses that you've reported, because that has come off quarter on quarter as well as year on year. And in a quarter where you had the big ad campaign launch with Mr. Bachchan, have you capitalized that and depreciating it over a period of time? What is the impact there?
See, firstly, as mentioned last year, that we had started a new plant at Dankuni. So that was making us cost effective and helping us in reduce the cost. So this year, our target was to reduce costs further, which got reduced because of the Dankuni plant, firstly. Secondly, Mr. Amitabh ji endorsed our brand Lux Venus. So in this category, this is the most price-sensitive category in which no other brand has a brand ambassador. So this helped us to push our sales. With the GST coming in, there was unorganized sector which went down a lot. And because of that, we got the first mover advantage in this segment. So this helps to increase our sales. So this increased our sales, plus our cost. We got cost effective because of the new Dankuni plant. Plus we got a good growth in our premium segment on.
Okay.
So that had better margins, so which helped us to gain better margins overall in the company.
Okay, Saket, let's take you on that point then. Currently, your premium products, what percentage do they form of your total sales? What was it earlier? And also, to keep it simple, the advertising cost as a percentage of sales, what was it? What is it likely to go to?
Okay, like last year it was around 8%, and 17-18 we closed it around 9 to 9.5%, which was the advertisement cost.
Okay.
So this mainly got increased because of a new brand which got introduced in the market, Lux Venus, which we didn't used to advertise before.
Okay. So you're spending nearly 9.5% of your total sales as advertising costs, correct? That's including Mr. Bachchan that you have signed in the last 1 year. All right. And the second part, premiumization. Everyone wants to be comfortable. Everyone's talking about premium products. Well, that's the most important product. So tell us, premiumization, premium products as a percentage of your sales, how much is it?
Last year, 16-17, it was around 9 to 10%, and 17-18, it's around 11%.
Okay.
So there's a 2 percentage point increase in the premium segment. Plus this current year, we are also introducing the new premium brand 18, which is in tie-up with Mr. Virat Kohli.
Oh.
So that is another premium brand which we are starting by this quarter end.
I think it's all premium briefs.
on the one end of the spectrum, he has Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. On the second, he has Virat Kohli. So that's quite a portfolio. So go ahead.
We have Mr. Varun Dhawan also in Lux Cozy.
Yep, we keep seeing those ads. So, if you could tell us he's getting all these brand ambassadors. What is the opportunity for you in terms of sales coming in from this Virat Kohli brand?
See, Virat Kohli brand, this year we'll get around 7 to 8 months of sale. So we cannot say exactly because the season starts in the month of February, March, April, May. So the major sales we will be getting in the fourth quarter of this year.
Why do you need a season? I thought people wear briefs on a regular basis, right?
But see, India has a tendency that as in when the summer comes in, so people tend to change more the inners than in the winter.
Okay, all right.
It's like more of a season thing in India.
All right.
Saket, you're making I mean that makes sense. And Saket, before we let you go, just give us broad numbers. What kind of sales numbers are you looking at this year? What kind of sales growth can you look at? And margins, you're signing on all these big names. Can you hold on to these margins? In the fourth quarter, you did around 16%. For the year, you did around 13%. So if you could help us out with both those numbers, revenue growth and margins.
Firstly, like for 17-18, we are targeted growth of 15%, and we reached at around 19%.
Super.
So for this financial year, we are targeting the same of 15% growth, and let's see how well we reach or how much more we reach towards that percentage.
And margins?
And the margins, our yearly margins was around 13.7%. We are planning to maintain and increase it a little more.
Okay.
This is mainly due to the increase in the premiumization of the product, as well as we are targeting a good export this year.
Okay.
How much do you export right now?
Right now, our export is at around 105 crores. And next year, let's see how much it goes. We have a big expansion plan in terms of export.
Okay, all right, Saket, thanks so much for joining in and giving us those details. Your shareholders will be happy that last year you guided for something, you outbeat that, and your margins as well are looking quite good. So let's see how things, how things move going ahead. Brief seasonality as well.
that was pretty interesting.
Premiumization, signing big brand ambassadors. Quite interesting, Mangalam.
Yeah, we were hearing him, but in the meanwhile, we should keep an eye out on what's flashing on our screen as well.
Yeah,
the Supreme Court has begun hearing the Congress JDS petition against
Now, as promised, let's get straight to the next management, Skipper. They reported a weakish quarter four, actually. Top line, it was a bit of a miss as well. And we did see some kind of margin compression as well. We have Mr. Devesh Bansal, the director of Skipper, who joins us on the phone line to discuss those details. Hi, Mr. Bansal. Thanks so much for joining in, sir. Let's get straight to the point. The last year hasn't been that great a year in terms of profitability. That's the net profit number I'm talking about. You did roughly around 120 crores. Some part of the street is expecting Skipper to deliver a net profit of nearly around 150, 155 crores odd for FY19. Is that possible?
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So, just to put things into context, the growth numbers that we're talking about, if you look at the annual growth numbers, that's been in excess of 23% for the company. And this is for the first time that the company has actually crossed 2,000 crores in revenue as well.
But that's as far as the revenue is concerned, Mr. Bansal. The net profit has actually declined from about 124 crores to 118 crores, which is why the concern that will it grow to 150, 160 crores by the end of this fiscal, as some part of the street believes?
Again, if you look at the profitability numbers from last year, as per IGAP standards, it was reported at 111 crores. But as per recasting, as per India standards, it was recast as 124 crores. So there's actually been a growth from 111 to 117 crores this year. And it's in line with our guidance given in terms of our margin percentage. Going forward as well, looking at the strong growth that the company is expecting of about 15% this year, we expect the margin percentages to be constant and somewhere close to the numbers that you're projecting.
So 2,350 is the revenue number we can look at for this year?
Definitely.
Okay, all right. So that's clear in terms of the top line. If you could tell us segmental performance, where exactly are you seeing the growth? I remember a couple of years ago, you all were talking about expanding your PVC business, right? I mean, you all were expanding out there. So currently, what is the revenue mix? How much comes in from your engineering products? How much comes in from PVC? If you could give us some clarity out there. And going ahead, how is that mix likely to change?
So on our engineering products, which makes up about 85% of the company's top line, we are definitely very bullish of 15% growth this year. We've seen almost 24% growth in the last year, and going forward, a 15% growth is definitely in the offing. On the polymer side, we've seen a muted year this year at about a 5 to 7% growth. However, we were trying to strike a balance between maintaining profitability with growth and not really compromising on the profitability too much. So the EBITDA numbers have remained at about 9%, but the growth has been muted. Going forward this year, we are very, very confident of bouncing back to the 40 to 45% growth which was projected last year.
Okay.
Polymer business as well.
All right, Mr. Bansal, you're sounding pretty confident about individual segments, but overall you've given us a revenue growth guidance of 15% in FY19. If you could give us a longer term guidance, and I ask this primarily because last year you did 23%, and you've also hired Vector Consultancy for process implementation and faster sales. So in that regard, would you go outdo the 15% in future that you've guided for in FY19?
We feel that a 15% growth projection is a very safe projection that the company's put out. So that is definitely on the cards. During mid-year, if we feel that we are doing better, we are of course always going to revise the guidance. But so Vector has been involved for our polymer business, where we want to see a higher percentage of growth, and it's mostly on the sales and distribution side to ramp up our sales and distribution network. So a combination of both of these will hopefully show us better numbers than the guidance that we are currently projecting.
Okay, very quickly, Devesh, if you could help us out with what exactly was the working capital days? Has it improved?
So the working capital days have remained more or less flat. We at about 180 gross days and 90 days net level. And we expect it to remain more or less constant going forward as well.
Okay, and quick the details. Currently, exports as a percentage of your total revenue is what is it? I remember it used to be around 12 to 15%. And if you could help us out with what is the debt in the books? Is it likely to reduce? Is it likely to increase? There's a bit of an increase on interest costs. So I ask you that question.
The increase in the interest cost is mostly because of the growing size of the operations. Our debt equity has actually reduced from 0.83 to 0.78 this year, which is again the lowest in the company's history. Going forward, we expect it to keep on reducing. The long-term debt has remained flat, whereas the short-term debt has increased because of, again, the growth in operations. So yeah, I mean, definitely things are looking positive.
Okay, all right. Devesh, thanks so much for joining in and giving us those details. Well, Mangalam, I'm just going back to the point that you were making in the break. Seasonality and briefs, what was that?
So TT Limited was the one who joined us, and he said that, you know, seasonality increases in the monsoons, whereas Lux Industries said it's in the summer season. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But before we wrap up on Chartbusters, just watch out for the rupee. 68.1, 68.2 is the recent low. So we'll watch out for that. As we do that,